You are welcome to my YouTube channel, and my name is Blessings Kakusa. We are going to answer the last year's paper, the paper which was written last year on 18th November 2022, as it has been indicated there. So before we go any further, you need to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more new videos that I will be uploading on this channel. And to set the ball rolling, we are going to begin answering the paper from question 1. So this is how the paper was looking like. Question 1 says, Figure 1.1 shows two generalized cells, F and G, of living organisms. So these are the cells they are talking about. We've got cell F and cell G. So you can be able to identify that this is an animal cell and this is a plant cell. So you can also start how the structures are looking like. So question 1A, Roman numeral 1, says, identify the part labeled H. Identify the part labeled H. So the part labeled H is the cell membrane. So that is the cell membrane. Or you can also call it as a plasma membrane if you want. For the sake of just differentiating your answer from your colleagues. Question 2 says, how does part H differ from I? How does part H differ from I? So part H is our cell membrane, we've answered, and I is the cell wall. So they want the differences. So this part H is a selectively permeable membrane, which means that it allows some substances to get in and out of the cell, while part I is a permeable membrane, where it allows all substances to get in and out of the cell. So you can also add on to say this part H bests part H bests due to the effects of osmosis when it gains a lot of water. While a part labeled I does not burst because it contains cellulose, which is very hard for it to be damaged. While part I does not burst because it is made up of cellulose. Okay, you can choose from these two answers and add them there. Question 3 says, explain the function of the structure labeled J. Explain the function of the structure labeled J. So the structure labeled J is what is known as the vacuole or a subvacuole. Okay. So the function of the structure labeled J is to it contains a fluid called cell sap. That cell sap is just the solution of sugars and salts in water. So that cell sap plays a role in the movement of water into and out of the cells. So part J contains a liquid called cell sap, which plays a role in the movement of water in and out of the cell the cell. Okay. Question 4 says, to which group of living organisms does cell F belong? To which group of living organisms does cell F belong? So cell F belongs to a group of living organisms which is called eukaryotic cells, or you can just say eukaryotes. It belongs to a group called eukaryotes. This is question 4. You can just say eukaryotes. Okay. We now go to B, 1B. Figure 1.2 shows the cell organization levels in multicellular organisms. Figure 1.2 shows the cell organization levels in multicellular organisms. So this is the levels of multicellular organisms. So we can start defining it at the bottom here, going up. So at the bottom, we've got organelles. Organelles are just tiny minute structures that are found in the cytoplasm. And we've got K there. We've got tissues, letter M, system, and organism. That's the final. Okay, we can now go to the questions now. So the first question is saying, identify the parts labeled K and M. Identify the parts labeled K and M. Okay, so the part labeled K is the cells. So this is B1. The part labeled K is cells, and the part labeled M is organs. So here it's organs. Organs. That's all. So different cells makes up tissues. Tissues, when they combine, they make up organs. Organs, when they combine, they make up a system, and the different systems makes up an organism. That's the end. Okay, we move on to question 1B2. State the level of cell organization at which muscles would be found. State the levels of cell organization at which muscles would be found. So they are talking about this diagram. Where can we find the muscles? So the muscles are found at tissues. This is why a muscle is defined as a tissue which performs a function by contracting to produce the movement of the parts of the body or the entire body. So the answer at 2 is tissues. Tissues. Question 3. Give one example of a system in plants and in animals. Give one example of a system in plants and in animals. So any system you may think of. So in plants, we can put here, we can put excretory system. Plants also do excrete. So we can put excretory system, excretory system. And in animals, we've got a lot of systems that we can add here. We've got this same excretory system. Animals also excrete. And we've got reproductive system. Reproductive system. We can also add circulatory system. Circulatory system. We can also put a respiratory system. Respiratory system. So you can just choose from these answers that I have given. Okay, we now move on to question 2a. Question 2 says, figure 2.1 shows a table of substances absorbed by plants from the soil. So these are the substances absorbed by plants from the soil. So plants absorb oxygen, nitrates, potassium, and water. From figure 2.1, identify the substance or substances which enter or enters the plant by osmosis, active transport, and diffusion. So we are going to select the answers from this diagram or a table. Okay, so this is question 2. Question 2a. Okay, so osmosis. One thing you should just know, which is also a fact, is that osmosis deals with water. So here the answer is water. Can put water here. Okay. At 2, we've got active transport. Active transport. Active transport, which is the movement of substances from a region of lower concentration to a region of higher concentration against a concentration gradient. So here, active transport also deals with nutrients. So here we can put nitrates, and potassium can also be added at this active transport. Potassium, diffusion. So on diffusion, we can put oxygen. Oxygen. It's oh sorry, diffusion. Diffusion. It's oxygen. Okay, diffusion. It is oxygen. That's how it should be. Okay, we move on to B. 2B. Figure 2.2 is a graph showing the effects of pH on the rate of enzyme-controlled reaction N and O. Figure 2.2 is a graph showing the effects of pH on the rate of enzyme-controlled reaction N and O. Okay, so these are the two reactions that we have. We've got reaction N and reaction O. So we move on to the questions. Question B1 says, what term is given to the parts labeled X and Y in the graph? What term is given to the parts labeled X and Y in the graph? So the term given to these parts. So as you can see, these letters are placed at the peak of these graphs, these two reactions. So at the peak here, this is where we call optimum pH. So that's the optimum pH. So B1, we can say optimum pH. Optimum pH. Okay, optimum pH. Which reaction is under acidic condition? Which reaction is under acidic reaction? So the reaction which is under acidic is N. So you can be able to tell that it's N because this is where this reaction has its highest level of the rate. Its rate is very high here, this side. So this pH scale shows that at 7 it's neutral. Moving this side to the left side, the reaction becomes acidic, and moving to the right, the reaction becomes alkalinity. So acidic, it's reaction N. So you just have to put N, or if you want, you put reaction N. Okay, we move on to 3. Okay, 3 is saying, which reaction could only be for a protein food? Which reaction could only be for a protein food? Give a reason for your answer. So which reaction could only be for a protein food? Okay, so the reaction which can only be for a protein food is reaction N. So one thing you should know is that proteins are only digested in the stomach. We can use this diagram for a. So proteins are digested in the stomach, where we find gastric juice or hydrochloric acid. So it's only hydrochloric acid or gastric juice which digests proteins. Okay, so here the reaction is N, is the reaction which can digest proteins. And the reason, so the reason we can now give is just that proteins are digested by acids. So reason, proteins are digested by acids. Okay, this is the best answer. So if you got uh, any pamphlet or any book where you can source other richer answers than these, you can use it to also look for good answers, and you should remember to comment them on my comment section below there so that we can be able to discuss those answers. So we move on to C. Explain the role of enzymes in metabolisms. Explain the role of enzymes in metabolisms. So just to have a recap, metabolism is the sum of total chemical reactions that take place inside living cells. So there are two types of metabolism. We've got anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism, this is where large and complex molecules are made from small molecules, and catabolism, where large complex molecules are broken down into simpler molecules. So the role played by enzymes in metabolism is just that the enzyme speeds up the chemical reaction that take place inside the living cells. So that is the role played by enzymes in metabolism. So you can say enzymes speeds up the rate of a chemical reaction that takes place inside living cells. Okay, and we are not revising this paper for the sake of just knowing the answers, the correct answers. No, we are revising this paper for us to conclude how we are able to get these answers. Okay, so remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that we come and finish these questions that are remaining in this paper. Okay, thank you.